Beth. Hi, Peggy. All right, we don't have our reader yet. I'm gonna get my phone in case anybody has trouble.
How are you doing, Peggy?
Yeah, I was saying I'm always over eager, so I always sign in early to be sure everything's going to work. How are you doing?
I'm good.
Good. I forgot. Did you have a birthday recently, or?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
And I have to say, this is so funny because first I went to church and that was nice. And I got my birthday greeting, my birthday prayer. And then Jim and I joined some friends and we went up to north of Petaluma and we went to this little concert there.
Oh, how fun.
Yeah. And we saw some other people we knew. And, I was dancing around a little bit and they looked at me. They knew that I was 74 and they were looking at me like, whoa, she's still alive.
We still got it.
Yeah, I mean, it was so funny. I really cracked me up.
I'm surprised when I can just get up out of bed and walk, get dressed. And if I'm not exhausted after I've taken a shower and had breakfast and gotten up, it's like, I think I got the back that was for somebody who was like 104, or something, or 107. But how fun birthday. What a nice surprise. Isn't that fun?
It was fun.
Great. Good.
Tell them, don't write us off.
Yeah, really.
There are so many people in their 70s that are just like going 100 miles an hour that I know. I mean, either at All Souls or, St. Albans or friends of mine that, we're almost all the same. I mean, I'm 77, so we're almost the same age. I have a lot of friends, and it's our 60th high school reunion or something. So where, people are cropping up that you don't talk to normally all the time. And sort of, I think we're having loneliness of the pandemic. We want to be in touch with people. I mean, that's how I feel. I'm always so glad to catch up with somebody.
I've had some wonderful long telephone conversations.
Yes, it's the truth. I think
I don't normally do.
Yeah, people have been more. People have been more conscientious about being in touch or remembering things, and actually, my children and I, they with each other and with me, and Facebook has kind of enhanced it somewhat, because we do use that, But hey, Margaret. But I think there've been more efforts to try to keep in touch. It's one of the blessings. Reading Joe, I was reading the first part all over to where it's different when you read it yourself,
Yeah, it's different, isn't it?
I wanted to catch up, but
hi, Roseanne. Nice to see you. It's been many months.
Hey, Roseanne.
Good evening.
Can you hear us?
Yes.
Oh, good.
Apparently.
Okay. Yeah, we have missed your presence.
I know. I'm missing you also.
You could sing a little part of Job today if you want. I should have told her that we'll take it in plain verse or whatever.
Right. Plain chant.
Yeah, plain chant, whatever. Yeah.
Susan and Deb have been holding up fine, but we'll be glad when.
No, I didn't mean instead of someone else. I just meant when I think of you, I think of that.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Lost one of my people I can rotate it to.
I know.
Oh, here's Mary. That's good. I've decided I'm going to call Barbara Metcalf just in case she forgets again. She was so mad at herself.
Oh, did she miss last week?
She just totally forgot.
Yeah.
Yes. Same for me. I missed last week. Just totally.
Yeah.
I set the alarm. So
sometimes I do that if I want to take a late afternoon nap before something I've got to do at like 6 o'clock or so, whatever. Mostly it's when I'm going to go babysit at 5 o'clock or something. Then I want, that sometimes, you could easily just lie down at 3 o'clock and, not wake up in time to get there at the right time.
Yeah.
My problem is I get reading a book and don't pay attention.
Yes, that happens too. That happens too. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I don't have Barbara's cell phone.
Hi.
Hey, Larry.
Hi, Larry.
Hi, Larry.
Hey. I had a lot of Zoom issues to work on.
Uh-oh.
Decided to update when I signed in. I said, oh, great. Now I got to wait for it to update.
Oh, I hate that. Yeah.
I hate all these things that are out of my control. Yeah.
Ah, here's Barbara.
How's everybody? Okay.
Hi.
Good. Oh, there's Barbara.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Okay. I was just getting ready to message you, Barbara.
She's muted, so I don't know if she.
Thank you, Becky.
Hey, hi.
And
Hi.
hi, Mary.
Hi.
Hi. Nice to see everyone.
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sorry I didn't figure out how to record last week's. I mean, I think it's there somewhere, but tonight's I'm pretty sure I've figured it out, so I'll be able
Yeah, because it said I had to press the button, the got
Yeah.
it button.
Me too. Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're being recorded.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I know Lori's coming, so we'll
Right.
wait a little bit.
wait a couple minutes.
Well, I can tell you guys that we put together 99 lunches today.
Wow.
And
wow.
Another friend of ours from the group delivered them.
Great.
Very
Fantastic.
nice. Yeah.
It's a lot of lunches.
Where
Yes.
did they go, Beth? I mean,
Yeah.
Second Street in Berkeley, and there's a lot of people there. And then 8th Street, 8th and Harrison, around in that area.
yeah.
Quite a few people
I
there.
think same place that we have the dinner at also on Sunday, second on the Sundays, but the second Sunday, but I think they have to deliver things right now since COVID instead of having, we used to have a big dinner and, with tablecloths and we make
Yeah.
Hi.
all
Yeah.
for the table.
Yeah.
So
It's
that's what I
okay.
do it, but now they're making the jambalaya and packaging it up some way that they can
Yeah.
either people can come by and get a package or they take it over to one of the places like that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Beth, where did you say you deliver in Berkeley?
Yeah, it's Berkeley, West Berkeley. So 2nd Street, that's a really industrial neighborhood, and that's where most of the people are now. And then also 8th and Harrison, and down Harrison a bit and down 8th a bit, so.
Yeah.
I think
Wow.
8th and Harrison is one of those one of the places that the rotating Sunday afternoon, the meal goes. So,
Mm.
but when I was involved, it was more for a couple of years was, setting the table, having people come through the line, and it was lovely to see everybody, but it's not practical now.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Not with COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
You see a lot of COVID among the homeless, Beth?
Not that much.
Not that
Hmm.
much.
That's good.
Outside all the time, They're
Yeah.
not vaccinated particularly, but they're outside.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. Yeah.
So.
Well, Larry,
Well.
you want to start? Are you expecting?
Well, what do you say? It
Well,
will.
it's 5 minutes.
Go
after,
ahead.
So
Oh,
I
okay.
think we
Good.
should.
Let's start.
It is recorded now, so we could put it on the.
Okay. We finished with chapter 14. Job had finished talking, and he was kind of talking to God and saying, how could you do this? And everybody is in this position, and we are abandoned by you and everything like that. So we come to the second round
Yeah.
of speakers, and Eliphaz the Temanite answers him. Then Eliphaz the Temanite answered, should the wise answer with windy knowledge and fill themselves with the east wind? Should they argue in unprofitable talk or in words with which they can do no good? But you are doing away with the fear of God and hindering meditation before God. For your iniquity teaches your mouth, and you choose the tongue of the crafty. Your own mouth condemns you, and not I. Your own lips testify against you. Are you the firstborn of the human race? Were you brought forth before the hills? Have you listened in the counsel of God? And do you limit wisdom to yourself? What do you know that we do not know? What do you understand that is not clear to us? The gray-haired and the aged are on our side, those older than your father. Are the consolations of God too small for you? Or the word that deals gently with you? Why does your heart carry you away? And why do your eyes flash so that you turn your spirit against God and let such words go out of your mouth? What are mortals that they can be clean, or those born of woman that they can be righteous? God puts no trust even in his holy ones, and the heavens are not clean in his sight. How much less one who is abominable and corrupt, one who drinks iniquity like water. I will show you, listen to me, what I have seen I will declare, what sages have told and their ancestors have not hidden, to whom alone the land was given, and no stranger passed among them. The wicked writhe in pain all their days, through all the years that are laid up for the ruthless. Terrifying sounds are in their ears. In prosperity, the destroyer will come upon them. They despair of returning from darkness, and they are destined for the sword. They wander abroad for bread, saying, where is it? They know that a day of darkness is ready at hand. Distress and anguish terrify them. They prevail against them like a king prepared for battle. Because they stretched out their hands against God and bid defiance to the Almighty, running stubbornly against him with a thick-bossed shield. Because they have covered their faces with their fat and gathered fat upon their loins, they will live in desolate cities, in houses that no one should inhabit, houses destined to become heaps of ruins. They will not be rich, and their wealth will not endure, nor will they strike root in the earth. They will not escape from darkness. The flame will dry up their shoots, and their blossom will be swept away by the wind. Let them not trust in emptiness, deceiving themselves, for emptiness will be their recompense. It will be paid in full before their time, and their branch will not be green. They will shake off their unripe grape like the vine, and cast off their blossoms like the olive tree. For the company of the godless is barren, and fire consumes the tents of bribery. They conceive mischief and bring forth evil, and their heart prepares deceit. Then Job answered, I have heard many things, many such things. Miserable comforters are you all. Have windy words no limit? Oh, what provokes you that you keep on talking? I also could talk as you do, if you were in my place. I could join words together against you and shake my head at you. I could encourage you with my mouth, and the solace of my lips would assuage your pain. If I speak, my pain is not assuaged, and if I forbear, how much of it leaves me? Surely now God has worn me out. He has made desolate all my company, and he has shriveled me up, which is a witness against me. My leanness has risen up against me, and it testifies to my face. He has torn me in his wrath and hated me. He has gnashed his teeth at me. My adversary sharpens his eyes against me. They have gaped at me with their mouths. They have struck me insolently on the cheek. They mass themselves together against me. God gives me up to the ungodly and casts me into the hands of the wicked. I was at ease, and he broke me in two. He seized me by the neck and dashed me to pieces. He set me up as his target. His archers surround me. He slashes open my kidneys and shows no mercy. He pours out my gall on the ground. He bursts upon me again and again. He rushes at me like a warrior. I have sewed sackcloth upon my skin and have laid my strength in the dust. My face is red with weeping, and deep darkness is on my eyelids, though there is no violence in my hands, and my prayer is pure. O earth, do not cover my blood. Let my outcry find no resting place. Even now, in fact, my witness is in heaven, and he that vouches for me is on high. My friends scorn me. My eye pours out tears to God, that he would maintain the right of a mortal with God, as one does for a neighbor. For when a few years have come, I shall go the way from which I shall not return. My spirit is broken. My days are extinct. The grave is ready for me. Surely there are mockers around me, and my eye dwells on their provocation. Lay down a pledge for me with yourself. Who is there that will give surety for me? Since you have closed their minds to understanding, therefore you will not let them triumph. Those who denounce friends for reward, the eyes of their children will fail. He has made me a byword of the peoples, and I am one before whom people spit. My eye has grown dim from grief, and all my members are like a shadow. The upright are appalled at this, and the innocent stir themselves up against the godless. Yet the righteous hold to their way, and they that have clean hands grow stronger and stronger. But you, come back now, all of you. and I shall not find a sensible person among you. My days are past, my plans are broken off. The desires of my heart, they make night into day. The light, they say, is near to the darkness. If I look for Sheol as my house, if I spread my couch in darkness, if I say to the pit, you are my father, and to the worm, my mother or my sister, where then is my hope? Who will see my hope? Will it go down to the bars of Sheol? Shall we descend together into the dust? Then Bildad the Shuhite answered, how long will you hunt for words? Consider, and then we shall speak. Why are we counted as cattle? Why are we stupid in your sight? You who tear yourself in your anger. Shall the earth be forsaken because of you, or the rock be removed out of its place? Surely the light of the wicked is put out, and the flame of their fire does not shine. The light is dark in their tent, and the lamp above them is put out. Their strong steps are shortened, and their own schemes throw them down. For they are thrust into a net by their own feet, and they walk into a pitfall. A trap seizes them by the heel, a snare lays hold of them. A rope is hid for them in the ground, a trap for them in the path. Terrors frighten them on every side and chase them at their heels. Their strength is consumed by hunger, and calamity is ready for their stumbling. By disease, their skin is consumed. The firstborn of death consumes their limbs. They are torn from the tent in which they trusted and are brought to the king of terrors. In their tents, nothing remains. Sulfur is scattered upon their habitations. Their roots dry up beneath, and their branches wither above. Their memory perishes from the earth, and they have no name in the street. They are thrust from light into darkness and driven out of the world. They have no offspring or descendant among their people, and no survivor where they used to live. They of the West are appalled at their fate, and horror seizes those of the East. Surely such are the dwellings of the ungodly. Such is the place of those who do not know God. Then Job answered, how long will you torment me and break me in pieces with words? These 10 times you have cast reproach upon me. Are you not ashamed to wrong me? And even if it is true that I have erred, my error remains with me. If indeed you magnify yourselves against me and make my humiliation an argument against me, know then that God has put me in the wrong and closed his net around me. Even when I cry out violence, I am not answered. I call aloud, but there is no justice. He has walled up my way so that I cannot pass, and he has set darkness upon my paths. He has stripped my glory from me and taken the crown from my head. He breaks me down on every side, and I am gone. He has uprooted my hope like a tree. He has kindled his wrath against me and counts me as his adversary. His troops come on together. They have thrown up siege works against me and encamp around my tent. He has put my family far from me, and my acquaintances are wholly estranged from me. My relatives and my close friends have failed me. The guests in my house have forgotten me. My serving girls count me as a stranger. I have become an alien in their eyes. I call to my servant, but he gives me no answer. I must myself plead with him. My breath is repulsive to my wife. I am loathsome to my own family. Even young children despise me. When I rise, they talk against me. All my intimate friends abhor me, and those whom I loved have turned against me. My bones cling to my skin and to my flesh, and I have escaped by the skin of my teeth. Have pity on me. Have pity on me, O you, my friends, for the hand of God has touched me. Why do you, like God, pursue me, never satisfied with my flesh? Oh, that my words were written down. Oh, that they were inscribed in a book. Oh, that with an iron pen and with lead, they were engraved on a rock forever. For I know that my Redeemer lives, and that at the last he will stand upon the earth. And after my skin has been thus destroyed, then in my flesh I shall see God, whom I shall see on my side, and my eyes shall behold and not another. My heart faints within me. If you say, how will we persecute him? And the root of the matter is found in him. Be afraid of the sword, for wrath brings the punishment of the sword, so that you may know there is a judgment. Then Zophar, the Naamathite, answered, pay attention. My thoughts urge me to answer because of the agitation within me. I hear censure that insults me, and a spirit beyond my understanding answers me. Do you not know this from of old, ever since mortals were placed on earth, that the exulting of the wicked is short, and the joy of the godless is but for a moment? Even though they mount up high as the heavens, and their head reaches to the clouds, they will perish forever like their own dung. Those who have seen them will say, where are they? They will fly away like a dream and not be found. They will be chased away like a vision of the night. The eye that saw them will see them no more, nor will their place behold them any longer. Their children will seek the favor of the poor, and their hands will give back their wealth. Their bodies, once full of youth, will lie down in the dust with them. The wickedness is sweet in their mouth, though they hide it under their tongues, though they are loath to let it go and hold it in their mouths. Yet their food is turned in their stomachs. It is the venom of asps within them. They swallow down riches and vomit them up again. God casts them out of their bellies. They will suck the poison of asps. The tongue of a viper will kill them. They will not look on the rivers, the streams flowing with honey and curds. They will give back the fruit of their toil and will not swallow it down. From the profit of their trading, they will get no enjoyment, for they have crushed and abandoned the poor. They have seized a house that they did not build. They knew no quiet in their bellies. In their greed, they let nothing escape. There was nothing left after they had eaten. Therefore, their prosperity will not endure. In full sufficiency, they will be in distress. All the force of misery will come upon them. To fill their belly to the full, God will send his fierce anger into them and rain it upon them as their food. They will flee from an iron weapon. A bronze arrow will strike them through. It is drawn forth and comes out of their body, and the glittering point comes out of their gall. Terror come upon them. Utter darkness is laid up for their treasures. A fire fanned by no one will devour them. What is left in their tent will be consumed. The heavens will reveal their iniquity, and the earth will rise up against them. The possessions of their house will be carried away, dragged off in the day of God's wrath. This is the portion of the wicked from God, the heritage decreed for them by God. Then Job answered, "Listen carefully to my words, and let this be your consolation. Bear with me, and I will speak. Then, after I have spoken, mock on. As for me, is my complaint addressed to mortals? Why should I not be impatient? Look at me and be appalled, and lay your hand upon your mouth. When I think of it, I am dismayed, and shuddering seizes my flesh. Why do the wicked live on, reach old age, and grow mighty in power? Their children are established in their presence, and their offspring before their eyes. Their houses are safe from fear, and no rod of God is upon them. Their bull breeds without fail, their cow calves and never miscarries. They send out their little ones like a flock, and their children dance around. They sing to the tambourine and the lyre, and rejoice to the sound of the pipe. They spend their days in prosperity, and in peace they go down to Sheol. They say to God, leave us alone. We do not desire to know your ways. What is the Almighty that we should serve him? And what profit do we get if we pray to him? Is not their prosperity indeed their own achievement? The plans of the wicked are repugnant to me. How often is the lamp of the wicked put out? How often does calamity come upon them? How often does God distribute pains in his anger? How often are they like straw before the wind and like chaff that the storm carries away? You say, God stores up their iniquity for their children. Let it be paid back to them so that they may know it. Let their own eyes see their destruction and let them drink of the wrath of the Almighty. For what do they care for their household after them when the number of their months is cut off? Will any teach God knowledge, seeing that he judges those that are on high? One dies in full prosperity, being wholly at ease and secure, his loins full of milk and the marrow of his bones moist. Another dies in bitterness of soul, never having tasted of good. They lie down alike in the dust, and the worms cover them. Oh, I know your thoughts and your schemes to wrong me. For you say, where is the house of the prince? Where is the tent in which the wicked lived? Have you not asked those who travel the roads, and do you not accept their testimony that the wicked are spared in the day of calamity and are rescued in the day of wrath? Who declares their way to their face, and who repays them for what they have done? When they are carried to the grave, a watch is kept over their tomb. The clods of the valley are sweet to them. Everyone will follow after, and those who went before are innumerable. How then will you comfort me with empty nothings? There is nothing left of your answers but falsehood. This is pretty heavy, isn't it?
It is very much.
Yeah, they get more and more upset with each other, and Job gets more and more adamant.
You know, I'd forgotten that the passage about I know that my Redeemer lives comes from Job.
Yeah, it does come from Job, and
Yeah.
you know, when I'm not quite sure how it works. You know what? I forget where.
What was your question, Becky?
No, I just said I had forgotten that the passage about I know that my Redeemer lives,
Comes
which
from
we say
here.
at funeral services, actually comes from Job.
Yeah,
It's at the end of chapter 19. It's such
Right.
a beautiful,
it's very beautiful.
that and the skin of my teeth.
And the skin of my teeth comes from Job.
Yeah, no.
I didn't know that either.
I thought it was funny when he used windy to describe people being overly talkative, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
It's funny.
I was just so struck with the mastery of language that this person had. You know, we tend to think, oh, they lived so long ago, you know, they probably aren't that articulate. No,
Yeah.
I mean, it's just amazing the use of the images and you know, metaphors that,
Yeah.
well, yeah, I just read the 14 chapters before we started, so this afternoon. So, I mean, I'd heard it last week, but it was different today just to see it and sort of set the stage for this. But I'm just, you know, I mean, it's like Shakespeare, you know, it's just,
Yes. Yeah.
it's, I mean, the characters are like Shakespeare, and the kind of energy that there is in the interchanges feel like some, you know.
Yeah. You could see them like leaning into each other,
Yeah, yeah.
talking really hard, and like spits coming out of their mouth and stuff. They are really into this.
I
Yeah.
mean, my breath is repulsive to my wife, I think. I mean, where do you, I mean, what would be a better, I mean, it could be the reverse of the genders, but still, it's just some of the ways that Job describes, or that this author describes things, it's just hard to believe.
Yeah, it's just really good. I don't really know why Job says, "For I know that my Redeemer lives,"
At that point,
suddenly in the middle of,
I think it's because he knows that he's not wicked as his neighbors are telling him. He knows.
yeah,
at
he's
the
like,
end he will be with God.
and he says, like, engrave everything I say on a rock. And then he says, "For I know that my Redeemer lives." Somebody is going to take care of this issue. I think, do you think that's kind of what he means?
I think all through the book, he comes back to this thing of, no matter what, my faith is still there,
It is, yeah.
We all know people who've just had these tragedies that you can't even, that I can't even fathom,
Yeah.
in life. And then somehow they still have words of faith, or, a really deep, trust that somehow
Yeah.
God is still in charge. I mean,
Yeah,
I think that's always a powerful part of the burial office.
yeah, it is. And no matter how much Job shakes his fist at God, he still says, "Well, you're the boss."
Yeah.
Well, but he wants God to come to court. He wants God to say,
He's coming.
"Yeah, why did you do this to me?" Yeah.
And then God has some pretty good comebacks, though. Where were you when I did this?
He does indeed. Yes, later on, yeah, he has some really dramatic.
Like, it's like he has all the cards. So he can make a,
Yeah, he is judge, jury, prosecutor,
yeah.
defendant.
Yeah.
Right.
He can make whatever you do. He can make the the winning hand.
Yeah, really and truly.
Well,
God.
it's so convenient to think that people bring disasters on themselves, that it's their own fault, that
Yeah.
they have been bad, and
Yes.
this is why we're in trouble.
Yeah.
And Job's not buying it.
He is not.
Yeah.
He's just
Yeah.
not buying it.
And he's telling the other three guys, he's saying, "Come on, I mean, that's not how the world works. I mean, open your eyes, it doesn't work that way.
Mm.
The wicked die
away
in
with
their
murder."
beds,
And in the world we live in, it's really true.
Yeah.
For sure.
I mean,
It's
I'm
so-
thinking about Beth, and we are talking about the homeless right before we started, and
Yeah.
I think one of the problems with dealing with whatever we're dealing with, of finding good solutions of the unhoused people in San Francisco and Los Angeles or wherever, is that we sort of believe how those friends felt. If things are going poorly for you, it's because you've done something, or you haven't done something, or you didn't try hard enough. I mean, I think there's a lot of that in the politics of how to deal with people who don't fit our model of,
Yeah.
and we want to blame it on them so that we don't have to deal with it. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a part of that we want to blame it on them so that we're absolved of the responsibility.
Yeah.
So also,
That's a
with
really-
that,
Sorry,
but
go ahead.
sometimes it's a way of saying this won't happen to me,
Yeah.
Keeping it at a distance.
Yeah,
Yeah.
difficult.
Yeah, I think that's really good, because I've always wondered, or I have been wondering, what's behind all of these guys' platitudes, which is essentially what they're arguing to Job. And it's like what you say, "Hey, I don't want this to happen to me," or "It's got to be this way," because otherwise I am like really in deep trouble.
Yeah. They
Yeah,
can't
I mean,
believe-
sometimes even, somebody that when something bad happens to you or somebody else will say something that's essentially blaming the victim, and you can almost hear the wheels turning, well, this isn't going to happen to me because I don't make these mistakes.
do X, Y,
Yeah,
Z.
really. Yeah. Yeah. That's really good. Yes.
I think they're frightened by what's happening to Joe.
They're frightened by what happens to Joe.
Well,
And they want-
they're caught up short. That old thing about sin is missing the mark. I mean, I think that in a certain sense, they realize, gosh, if I were in your position, I wouldn't be so faithful. I wouldn't be able to believe that God still loved me or something. I mean, it's sort of a self-reflection on them of what they're thinking when this is all happening to their friend. That deep down, probably they know he's a pretty upright person.
Yeah.
I think they're feeling embarrassed.
Mhm.
They really don't know what to say, is what it comes down to.
But even if they don't know what to say, they just keep flowing out. This amazing virtuosity
And the same
description
old thing
that
that
they all have
yeah.
pile over and over. Yeah.
I forgot how many rounds of this there were when I was,
Yeah, I know,
going back
it's really,
to it. I thought,
they let up.
But I think it's true. I think that American, when we saw this, when we did this Sacred Ground reading group, if you remember, the very first session was a documentary made by David Kennedy and what was her name, Condoleezza Rice, talking about the American assumption that each person makes their own life, that we all have a chance. If you do things right, you'll succeed. And the fundamental flaws in that, right? Because we're not all born into the same place, because all kinds of things happen, because we don't start out the same. And we do that to an extreme that many of the European countries don't do. And it extends to our criminal justice system. There was a time in American life when people who were convicted of crimes, well, they may have been put in the stocks, but there was also a current of there, but for the grace of God, instead of treating criminals as if they were another species. Those are people who have chosen to be bad, not that these are things any of us could have done. And similarly, as we were talking about, what ill fate falls on people is their own doing. That's boy, these Job's comforters really got it on that. They really got that.
Yeah, they've absorbed that under their skin.
Yeah.
But they won't say it.
It's back to the thing of like we're discussing now, can felons never vote again? No matter how much rehabilitation happens, is it a kind of a permanent blight on their ability to be a part of the community, which voting is one of the rights of being a part of the community? But I mean, that just comes to mind since they were discussing that in some state that I can't remember.
Oh, it's
I
really
think
big.
some state recently is
Yes, I
permitting.
think
That's
right.
what I was thinking. I mean,
felons
but I can't remember which.
I can't remember which.
Can't be Florida, but somehow.
It could be.
Florida rings a bell to me, but I don't quote me on that.
Florida? Seems unlikely.
Yeah, that's
I mean, they're so crazed down there. Or
so.
whatever it is.
I
When
think
you talk, could you distinguish among the three friends?
I would have to go back and make notes on each person for their three talks. I think there is a distinction in some sense. Some of it may bear more on the family situation. Some of it may bear more on the kind of the righteous, the thing about the righteous flourish. It was it was partly biblical, Hebrew, that there was a point where we thought that, God's favor was ours, that it showed God's favor if you were flourishing. And there's a little of that in the American culture, or a lot.
Yeah,
But I don't remember, I mean, I'd have to make a little
It has a-
debate chart where you put all this person's words and all this.
Yeah, I was,
I can't distinguish between them,
no,
No, they-
not really.
certainly not on this essentially
Yeah.
first reading.
Yeah.
We have to get to know each of them a little bit better.
right.
Yeah.
But they
Yeah.
really harp
It-
on
it-
the wicked are punished, and that's therefore Job must be wicked.
Yeah.
And he keeps.
Well, Or get a grip, Job, admit that you are not right. I mean, I think they're so irritated that he continues to insist that he's in God, he has faith in God, or
Yeah, I think as I look back on it, I think the first guy, I think it's Eliphaz. He says, Job, you did something wicked,
Yes,
and therefore this has happened to you. And he's expecting Job to say, yeah,
Oh, I remember.
but Job doesn't. And the
Yeah.
rest of it turns into this argument over, I think, well, on Job's side, it's about justice. I think. And that is, I should be treated as I am for what I've done, not for some arbitrary reason I can't figure out.
Well,
It's,
yeah, if you think
it's
about
the old when bad things happen to good people
yeah.
problem. Yeah,
it, they're often arbitrary.
it's a great book, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. The language is
Oh,
Amazing.
As a retired nurse, I just kind of think about his symptoms, like the bad breath and the skin and the,
of course.
like, what's going on with this guy?
And he's scraping his sores with a
I
pipe.
know.
Oh, God.
Going, oh, the poor guy.
You can't
Yeah.
beat that for an opening scene.
Yeah, really, really.
lost faith. Then that would be very entertaining to come up with a tentative diagnosis, Beth.
Monkeypox.
Well, he sure has some loathsome skin disease. Yeah. And it's so striking, way at the beginning, his wife just says, curse God and die. Yeah, she's like, she doesn't go as far as, the guys, Job's friends do. She just
But we don't
says,
hear from her,
just die.
which is typical of the Bible to leave. The
Yeah,
woman out.
yeah, women don't, yeah.
Yeah. So.
You don't have a woman's voice in here except for those 4 words. Yeah.
And
And the feminists would say that there's no name for her either. All of his friends have a name.
Yeah.
He has a name, but the wife.
does not.
She's Job's wife.
Job's wife. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway. Well, great.
Thank you.
Glad,
You did.
I'm
You do
glad.
smart.
Am I the only one who felt the connection was not too good tonight?
It's a
Oh,
little bad.
The audio was a bit uneven.
Oh, really?
I didn't have a problem, but
I felt okay. Maybe
I think it was
maybe
your,
it's a bad night up at your house, Barbara.
yeah, I think it's your,
I bet it was mine.
yeah, because you
Christina,
kept
you're frozen right
freezing, like your face.
You
is
did
frozen
freeze,
right
for sex,
Yeah.
for little seconds. Yeah.
Now, but at most, I could hear, and I actually have a written version. So
I'm
Yeah.
Following it, alternate, looking at
Yeah.
it now and then. So.
I should have checked that right away. Didn't.
Well, thanks, Larry, so much.
thank you
Thanks,
so much.
Larry.
Larry, you're reading.
You, Larry.
Appreciate it.
Very special.
So we'll start with 22 next time. I forget what the next chunk is. It's like 22 to 30 or something. The chunks are smaller after the first night.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a good way to do it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think it's nice. Yeah. Thank you so much.
You're
Thank you.
welcome. I
Thank
love
you.
it. I love it.
Appreciate
Take
it.
Bye,
care, you
everyone.
guys.
Bye.
Bye
Great to
bye.
see you.
See,
Yeah,
see some of you
bye-bye.
tomorrow
Bye.
morning at 8.
Oh my gosh.
Don't forget morning prayer. All right.
Bye,
Bye,
everyone.
everybody.
Bye-bye.
Roseanne.